Okay, so we have a new episode of Legends and Leaders, and today it's great to have David here. David, you're the CEO of Nex, which is building a really interesting system to get families to connect with each other through gaming and through interactions, and to also, be a really healthy system for the family. And I think it's something that's really important today to make technology something that's positive and really useful. And so I'm excited to have you here and to get into your journey and what you're building.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So just kind of like going back to the, kind of thinking behind your journey and what you're doing now, like, were you always interested in entrepreneurship? Were you interested in technology? Like, was this a passion of yours that has merged today, or did it kind of just come about more recently? How did this journey of yours start?
Oh wow, that's a great question. Well, I start very early,
Mhm.
and it all started in the summer of 2003. In that summer, I was still in college, and I was supposed to take an internship. I skipped that because we have an idea, and we end up starting the company, hire ourselves as intern, and build our first application over the summer. And the three co-founders was in that team that we have in that summer, and we've been working together for 22 years since then.
Wow.
Did it more like, well, we come together, build something, and we begin to gain a little more confidence of our capability, and then we move on to build more. That summer, we built an online web-based calendar 3 years before Google Calendar.
Wow.
And a few years later, the team built an online spreadsheet, and we launched it before Google Spreadsheet. Apple liked what we did, and then acquired the company. So in 2008, we worked for Apple, and for 8 years, so we stayed in Apple and bringing the collaboration capabilities to their productivity suite, Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. And 2017, I left Apple to start Next. So Next just turned 8 years old, and the three co-founder that we've been working together since 2003, still working together today for 22 years and counting.
Wow. So how did you meet these other, co-founders? Like, you guys have just been friends for a long time, and you were always thinking of building companies together.
Um, we so Reggie and I in the same program,
Mhm.
and there was a time when, hey, I want to work with the best people of my age, and I go seek out like the best people. And Tony was like, make a name for himself pretty early. So I want to work with him. He's in another college. So I just need to go visit him time and again, and want to kind of convince him to come to my team. And yeah, we did that for a couple of years before we joined forces in the summer and built our first, software together. So it was quite a journey. It was quite a journey. Meeting these people, some of the best people I've ever met, and learning alongside each other, growing alongside each other, have each other's back. We've been through a lot, but we thoroughly enjoyed the journey that we shared together.
Mhm. So, what made you want to kind of sell the company to Apple besides like the financial results? Like, did you think Apple was gonna did you realize how serious their productivity suite was going to become? Because I mean, it's a big piece of what they do today. Like, and was that something that was exciting to you? Like, what made you want to be a part of Apple?
Well, the opportunity to work for Steve Jobs,
Hmm.
that might be it. So I remember when we built the first calendar app in that summer, we watched the keynote. Like, back in the day, there's no YouTube, right? As in somebody
Right.
like found that video, and then we just put that video on the screen and we watch it together. And it was Steve um, showcasing the iCal, the
Hmm.
calendar app on stage. And we saw that. I don't really familiar with, hey, who Steve was and that, and hey, well, this dude is great, and I have similar idea, and we want to build that experiences on the web. So that was how we get started. And in 2003 and in 2008, I think, like, Apple make the decisions to want to bring us on board to help them with their productivity suite and bring collaboration feature to that suite.
What was it like working at Apple? Like, what did you learn from Apple that has affected how you build today?
Um, Obsessed about building something great.
Mhm.
Um, and there's an obsession of building something truly great for the customers. Understand the customer deeply and build something great for them. And obsess about like the design, obsess about like the use cases, obsess about really solving customer problem. And that obsession still comes through to the product that we build today.
Like how so? Can you kind of like dive in a little bit more on that? Like how are they so obsessed, and like how does that kind of change how you're obsessed? Like is it just the way they prototype ideas, and then or just the kind of thinking about how to come up with features? Like can you just dive into that a little bit?
So Apple have a very strong demo culture, and I still have this in Nex today, where we would sit around a product, we showcase it, we tell the story, we envision every step, how the customer would interact with it, how they derive like surprise and delight, derive joy from using the product. And that occasion is like for the team to gather around and see and review and enjoy and critique a piece of work. And that I think is, part of how we are able to basically, hey, always be able to tell the story. Always be able to, hey, the customer come in here, this is how they're thinking, they go through this is what the outcome. I think that part of the process is actually really important to be able to envision every single step, all customer touch point to create a great product. And the storytelling part, the demo part, and nailing that early is the core of the beginning of being obsessed about having customers solving that problem. If you can tell the story and hey, how exactly this would be used, I think that's the really good beginning of being customer obsessed.
So, when you were thinking about kind of like going back out more on your own and building a company, building Next, like how did the foundation for this idea start? Was there some experience you had with your family that you're like, there's something missing here? How did this idea, because it's an interesting idea, how did it happen?
If we talk about what Nex have been doing over our 8 years of journey, Nex Playground is not the first thing that we did. Okay, it's not the first thing we did, but you can find is our mission remain to be remarkably consistent. It's about making movement fun, building something that have both utility and joy. So we started with the HomeCourt app. HomeCourt app is a basketball training app. So when I left Apple, like scratching my head, okay, what I'm going to do next, and I just reconnect with what I truly love. And it's funny, the first thing come up is basketball, because I've been playing basketball all my life on a weekly basis, and I just love the game. I'm 5'5". I'm not even a good player, but I just love the game. So we start with building an app that help us get better at basketball. And certainly there's a few people resonate with what we're doing, including NBA, who actually invest in the company, including Apple, because we did something cool and we use AI to track motion. And that was the time, 2020, 2018 is when iPhone XS shipped, and the AI chip in it reached breakthrough performance to allow us to analyze video in real time, 30 frames a second. So we just like ride on that capabilities, start doing AI before AI is a buzzword back in like 2018. And that's basically is our first application that we created. And then pandemic happens in 2020. It changed all our plans. NBA just invested in us. We thought we would be doing a lot of things with the NBA. We're going to take this basketball app global to many places. Pandemic happens. We thought, oh, nobody playing basketball, nobody gathering to play basketball in person, right? Even some country, I think they even removed the basketball rim in their public park because they don't want people to gather. They don't want COVID to spread. But to our surprise, HomeCourt app went viral during those moments. And people who download the app is not even basketball player. they just want to kind of play the interactive training games in it. And okay, well, if people like those games, let's do games. So we take those interaction games out, put it into another app called Active Arcade, and that app ran viral again. But we find out that a lot of users who actually love our game the most are the people who connect their phone to the TV to play. And that's what led to Nex Playground, because we thought, hey, well, we're building the thing for the wrong platform. We should building it for the big screen. And how we do that, eventually end up that, we need to build our own hardware to deliver that to our customers.
But it's still a different market, that Nex Playground, compared to the app. Like, it's kind of a different demographic. Like, how did that piece evolve in terms of what you built and where you're targeting now? Because it seems to be a little different than the app world.
When we start building the home court basketball training app, it is targeting basically middle school and high school kids who want to play the next level of basketball. But we also see a lot of younger kids also kind of getting the app and learning to dribble, playing the interactive training games in it. And that's when we actually start to have the new customer demographic orientation. And when Active Arcade is there, we see parents and playing with young kids. Active Arcade is a mobile app, and when we go to move to Nex Playground, we also kind of rooting on that demographics of users. So with families, want to kind of stay active, want to kind of have something fun to do with the young kids in the families. So this is like the core have been shifted a little bit over time to where we are with Nex Playground. But Nex Playground is not only want to bring joy and fun activities to the young kids, we want to serve the whole families. So when kids go to school, we have something fitness experience for the parents and some sports experiences for everyone in the family, including grandparents as well. So we have something for them as well.
I mean, I don't necessarily understand why motion gaming kind of went away. Like, when the Kinect came out, it was massive and people really liked it. I mean, especially when everything worked right, it was a great experience. And then the Wii, I mean, I used to always use the Wii, and people loved the interactivity, especially Wii Sports. I mean, you would get exercise doing Wii Sports, even though they're the digital ones, and people would play them with friends, and then it kind of just all of a sudden fizzled out. So I think it's great that you're bringing back motion gaming and kind of care about that. Like, why do you think it went away, and what do you think it needs now to kind of be relevant again?
That's a great question. I want to know too. But from what I read, is the Nintendo and Xbox have their own audience for a very long time, who expects to play game in certain way. And motion game may not be the thing their core customers want. Think about the key franchise of Nintendo. Like, think about the key franchise on Xbox. Like, they are not motion game franchise. They can create new one, but the key franchise are where their core customer base are, and Nex do not have those core customer base. So what it allows us to do is to learn from their strength and try to solve some of their limitations. Certainly, there's a lot of resonance in the market, like 100%. Like, we sold 100 million units, Kinect sold over 30 million units. There's a huge market out there, want this kind of experiences. But what we are now doing is, first, we now have different tech. We use camera and AI to track motion. The whole thing's a lot simpler. Doesn't require sensors, doesn't require complicated camera system that Kinect used to need to have, which is a bulky one. And we have a audience focus, which we create everything from the ground up to focus on family with young kids first. So we are not need to kind of also serve the core gamers market, right? So we don't have hey, I need to serve this market and that market. We are very focused on serving the customer who love motion game first. And the third would be that we highly prioritize safety, privacy, and security. Because of our audience orientation, we have a very simple business model, which is subscription. that we highly align with what parents want. So we actually come into this market with a new tech, with different tech, with audience focus, and also a business model that would highly align with what parents would want.
How did you think about like getting games developed here for this, and like what the future of motion gaming should look like from a game standpoint? Because a lot of people like the interactivity of games, beforehand, but there's a lot more you can build on since these systems were created initially and do something different and engaging today. Like, how did you think about building these games and what you wanted to do that would expand on motion gaming?
So what the technology now enable us to do is a full body tracking, not just one sensor just checking like one point of your body. We have full body sensing, and also the orientation of your body as well. We can basically make use of like all these input to create a deep experience. We always think about how we can create something as fun as sports. Sports, be it baseball, basketball, like tennis, you name it. Very low floor, very high ceiling. Everybody can hold a tennis racket and hit some tennis ball, but very few become Serena Williams, right? So we want to kind of create games that can create that low floor, high ceiling experience. And the new AI technology enable us to do that because we can read multiple of your body joint. I have a baseball game I'm just testing for days already with my daughter. And it was a really fun game. Ball coming at you, it read your whole body motion, see like how you swing the bat, determine where the ball would go, how high it would go. And it's a really fun game. It's a really fun game. And just like sports, is easy to understand, easy to play, but to master that, takes a long time, and that's where the fun is. So I think we are envisioning a world where, motion game can be built to be reaching the level or even more fun than the physical world, because like the variety input we can give to you, we can put you in an environment and make it like accessible and available in the living room right away. So I'm very, very excited about what we can do with the motion tech and where it would lead us.
Yeah, no, it's interesting how advanced it is now, what you can do with it, and the full body scan is cool. I wasn't aware of that. So you kind of just test out stuff on your family, and if your daughter likes it, then that's kind of the way to go. I think it's great. I mean, I like to test products on family members too. So is that kind of like part of the testing that you do?
Yeah. So I have two daughters, 14 and 9. And if you ask them, they would say they've been growing up with daddy's apps and games. And my wife just told a joke just yesterday. He said I'm kind of using the girls like my Paul the Octopus. So Paul the Octopus used to predict the World Cup results.
Uh-huh.
And like when I test the games and when I see how my girls interact with it, would they play themselves? Would they like it? But the moment they start complaining there's bugs on the system, I know that hey, this game will be good because that means they care. And I have a lot of great time playing our games with a daughter. And when I look closely on the product that we created, game we created, I kind of see that little fingerprint all over it. They would give comments, they would ask for things, and great inspiration. And being able to kind of build something for them is deeply satisfying. Deeply
Yeah,
satisfying.
that's awesome. How did you get Next Playground kind of out there and get some traction behind it? Like, did you do a lot of advertising? Was it a lot of content? Like, what kind of got it to have the success as today? And like, what do you think it will take to go to the next phase of scaling this to retailers, all around and beyond?
Yeah, when we started, we only created 5,000 units. It was 2023. So 2 years ago, 2023. And this is a little bit more like, hey, Next only have this left, this is our last bet. And we pour all our hearts into doing this, and want to make sure one thing: that a customer could have it, would love it. We started with a user community, which I started myself in May 2023, and start accumulating users who are interested in the product. I would say that community can help shape our product over time. And I'm still spending time on there on daily basis there. And being able to not just build for the customers, but build with the customer is what gets you a deep resonating with what the customer want from the product. And it become a product that will say, hey, this is the best purchase ever. And word of mouth will be the number one thing that I would attribute this to. That people who bought it, love it, tell their friends, and it drove the spreading of the product. I would first of all attribute it to that. Second, we also have great partners like Hasbro. Let us work with them on a Peppa Pig game. Mattel. Let us work with them on a Barbie dance game. NBC Universal. Let us work with them on How to Train Your Dragon game, which is the only game that come out with the movie together. Paramount, GMNT, Sesame Street, like with Sesame Workshop. It's like all these great partners have like great IPs, well-known IP, let us stand on their shoulder to build games with them together, and let us reach a lot more users. So the second thing I will attribute it to. And then third, and probably also one of the most important, is our retail partnerships. We did not expect this product to go into retail on the second year, but we did. I remember in 2024 CES, we sent samples to all the Walmart, Best Buy, and Target. We are lucky because all of these buyers and have kids, so test with the kids, and everyone come back and hey, want to carry a product for the year. And that leads to a 30x growth last year, which we sold roughly 150,000 units.
Wow.
And this year we're expanding from 1,000 store last year to 5,000 store this year. So we expect another year of like really good growth and enable us to reach more families.
It's amazing. So just the last question I have, like, what does the 5 to 10 year plan look like? Like, what is the long-term vision for what you're doing? Because you have the home court, app that you've kind of built out. Now you have this, like, is there an ecosystem you're building here? What does the future hold?
We now primarily focus on Nex Playground and Nex Playground ecosystem. And in the long term, we want to serve more members of families and want to serve them for many years. We want Nex Playground to be a staple in the family and bringing healthy, active lifestyle into the family. We want Nex Playground to be a household name. We want Nex to be there and champion that, championing the how we can create a new form of entertainment that can make the family more healthy, more active, bring them more together, and serving them with the best application or best games that we can create.
David, I appreciate you taking the time and doing this. I think it's really great what you're building. I think there needs to be a fusion of entertainment and exercise and taking care of your health. And it's something that is like, it's kind of puts together two really important worlds that just have not fully met yet today, and they need to meet, especially considering where we're at health-wise in this country and other places. It has to happen. And starting young with kids and getting them engaged in something that's fun, but also, productive in this sense is great. And it's nice you built this system, and I'm just excited to see you scale it further. So appreciate you taking the time to do this and looking forward to what's to come.
Thank you so much.